Hi everyone, this is a brief presentation on proficiency descriptors, how we use those in Phase 2, what they are, why we use them, and how they are related to our ICCs and PLOs. This is across the curriculum. As you recall, we discussed our ICCs and PLOs last week, but we'll have a brief review this week too. So this is the ICC PLO map for business. This is our baccalaureate program. Our institutional core competencies are the same for all of our programs. We want our students to be able to achieve college level written communication, oral communication, quantitative reasoning, critical thinking, information literacy, which also goes to technological literacy, and our ICC 6, which is ethics and diversity. And this is at the baccalaureate level. You see the map here for specific classes where we are reinforcing or mastering certain of these ICCs and PLOs. The introductory level is not on this map, but we do have it. And then at the associates level, we describe these somewhat differently because the same level of learning is not achieved at the associates level as it is at the bachelor's level. And so this has been tweaked just a little bit to show the difference in the learning that's expected using the Lumina degree profile and Bloom's taxonomy. So as we write those proficiency descriptors, we're doing that in the light of the ICCs and PLOs that we want to make sure that the student can achieve. So we write those student learning outcomes, SLOs, and we describe what the student does to achieve the outcomes. And we write our assignments in each course to ensure that the student can achieve the outcome by accomplishing certain tasks, and the tasks are specific to the course in light of the ICC or PLO that we want the student to demonstrate. When we write the descriptors, we're describing how well the student does each task in the assignment, again, in light of the ICC or PLO. So when we write those proficiency descriptors, we really have to break each assignment down into tasks, connect them to the student learning outcome, the program learning outcome, and the institutional core competency, and describe that task that the student has to accomplish. And we're also describing the expertise with which they accomplish those tasks. Here at AAU, the descriptors for each assignment are relatively brief because they have to fit in iBoard, but these become the guidelines for the outcome-based rubrics in iBoard. So we've developed those maps, and at the bottom line, the proficiency descriptors are the smaller components that describe the goals and tasks at the module and assignment level. They have to explain what the student has to do, but they also describe the degree of success that the student achieves in accomplishing that task. So from the student's perspective, we really want to think about these proficiency descriptors as being something that can coach the student to success. The student looks at the descriptor for beginning, which is our lowest level of achievement, and they should know what it takes to step up a notch to emerging, and then up to developed, and then finally, if a student is developed, they should know what it would take to become highly developed. These proficiency descriptors become a roadmap to excellence for the student. Generally speaking, when we create proficiency descriptors, we're looking at the level of proficiency at which the student demonstrates their knowledge and their application of the knowledge. And when we write them in terms of the ICCs and PLOs. I'm going to show you an example of that in a minute. But from a global perspective, when we look at a highly developed student, this is our top quartile of our students. They really are our best students, showing that they totally understand the assignment. They have well-developed higher order order critical thinking skills. They look at multiple viewpoints, their relationships, they use examples, they use evidence, they have very few errors in their paper. At the developed level, there are some critical thinking skills, but there are also some gaps. Several viewpoints, maybe not every viewpoint. They may have some examples, they may have some evidence, but they may miss a few points or contain some minor errors in the paper. If they're emerging, they're going to demonstrate more limited higher order thinking skills. So our highest quartile is highly developed. Our next quartile is developed, and under the halfway mark is emerging. They're beginning to show some understanding and some competence. They've got some comprehension of the learning concepts, but they can't quite relate it to all the relationships that exist. They may not have examples. They may not really be able to provide any evidence or apply that knowledge to a real life situation, and they have several errors. And then at the beginning level, these are our lowest quartile students. They have very limited knowledge of the subject matter and learning concepts. They can't demonstrate that they're really getting it. They don't have any examples. They can't apply it to real life, and they have very little evidence, and the assignment may have multiple errors. So as an example for Marketing 220, here we're really looking at the SLO 7, which is using quantitative reasoning skills, see tied right back in to the ICC and PLO, compare different pricing strategies for profitability and differentiate them for use in pricing a new product for their new product marketing plan. So you can tell that this assignment is very well tied to the pricing of the 4 P's of marketing. So this proficiency descriptor has to break the assignment down into the tasks that have to be accomplished. It sets the criteria by which the student achieves the work, and it does that in terms of the ICC and PLO that we're measuring. So here we're asking them to develop an Excel spreadsheet. We also want them to have a discussion, a little essay that talks about supply and demand, their pricing objective, the stages of the life cycle of their product and how the pricing would change, what basic approaches they're using with their pricing, and then are they going to fine-tune it with rebates, discounts, or any other methods. So you can tell that they have to use math skills, and that ties directly to the quantitative reasoning. So here, if they are highly developed, they can accurately explain that pricing model presented in mathematical terms. They can use that Excel spreadsheet. They can really make all the relations between supply and demand, the life cycle, and also whether they're going to tweak it with rebates or anything like that. At the developed level, they have it pretty well together. They can kind of convert that relevant information, but it's got a few gaps. They're not really hitting all of the quantitative analysis of the data, and they don't really connect how they're pricing their product to how that relates to the marketing plan. At the emerging level, yeah, they got some of it. They have a pricing model. They missed the mark in a number of places, but they've got the general concept. And then at the beginning level, they tried, but they can't really relate that mathematical form, or if they did, they've got incorrect conclusions. They tried to convert the information, but it's incomplete or inaccurate. So if you have any questions about proficiency descriptors, please contact me at dsykes@allied.edu. My phone number is on the screen. I look forward to it. You're going to see these in all of our classes. They help us measure whether we're reaching our goals by having students achieve the outcomes, but they also help the student with a roadmap to success in their classes. So I hope that this helps you understand proficiency descriptors, and stay tuned for next week.